start with presentation of the results of the World Cafe. Before, I have a question. Tomorrow in the morning, we will go to the United Nations, and you are already asking for your name in the passport and your passport number. If there is somebody or anybody who already didn't give this name and this number, please make it now at the desk, because the United Nations has called us a few minutes ago. Until 1 hour, they need the names and the passport number.
Right now?
No, we have it. No, I didn't if there is any person who don't send the names and the passport number.
But I think I was thinking like, did I do it? I think I did it, but can I look if I screwed it or not?
We can take a look.
Yeah, I'll do that. In case of
Okay, so we start with the presentation. And I ask the hosts to present the results of discussion. We start with education, and then we go step by step through the topics.
Thank you, the guests in the education group, for coming and for your input. I will explain what we have done. You saw it's a picture with very different aspects in very different directions. So we work together, and I will give you the conclusion of the work. We started with the important point of teacher training in sustainability, and with the teacher training is the starting point, but it's not enough for a real sustainable development. So we need also other groups, we need parents, we need children in other groups. We need for the change process, and sometimes teacher means now my teacher training is ended and now I know all about sustainability. It's the starting point, because sustainable development in the name is included is a process, and always you need the new information about this process, and you need as a teacher further education in sustainable development. So
glass, plastic, things like that, upcycling, doing more of that. Instead, if something's broken or damaged, instead of just tossing it into the landfill, maybe cycling and repurposing. Having more positive advertising, and that one, I don't know how that could totally happen because the media is its own beast, but maybe having some sort of positive message out there in terms of instead of seeing a baby sea turtle with a ring around its neck, giving a negative image that someone just wants to put out of their mind, putting more of a positive spin and giving ideas of how you really can impact. And the last thing was we really need to have a bigger change before nature makes the change.
We go on with human dignity. Try to say the main things in 3 minutes.
I don't because so many minutes.
Come on.
On one.
Okay.
Okay. Human dignity. We find it very difficult one. What does it mean, and how
louder.
Oh, yes. As we can see, human dignity consists of many things. Here are human rights, and they are very important, as well as geography. Some countries does respect people's rights better than others, that we know all. But the most important thing is education. If you get education, you can change your life, you can change politics and your country's laws. But there are also things that you can change, for example, your age or your gender. We all need empathy, and we all need communication to understand this whole system. How does it work? And we need open mind and understanding. That's very important.
Our teams were working on globalization, and having a look at this very group, it's not as global as it was anticipated originally. But I'd like to say hi if somebody sees us or hears us from overseas, from Pakistan and other countries, that we truly believe in a globe that works together. On the other hand, we know that the term globalization does ring a different bell in everybody's head. Is more globalization better, or is less globalization better? Or if more and less doesn't work, which type of ideal of globalization is there? Is it think global, act local? Is it think global, act globally? So there are different strategies, and we've come to a couple of keywords that I would like to present to you. And you see that we put our poster for the second stage stimulus for change up front because there's most of it in there. The keywords that I'd like to highlight was, as we had before, education is one of the key words that is important. We thought about being able to understand the globe from an early age on, but then soon there was the idea, if the internet is one important source, who helps us to sort out which information we get? We came to the monopolies, the big global players that sort the information for us. So is the information that we get the information we should get for the globalization that we should want? Or is it someone else to tell us which globalization we want? So is it a certain bubble of globalization that we see? Or is it the real world out there? So which filters are there? I think this is very important. And for the third step, we had the term education by trusted sources. Now this is very tough, and from the discussion that we had, I personally think that it's more a personal connection than an internet connection. So we need the role models that we have talked about before. We need, I think, physical human beings, be it the parents, be it trusted teachers, be it other people out there, not just the screen telling us what we should think. United Nations and the SDGs are another key important points for globalization, so we're very much looking forward to the input we get tomorrow. What role do global institutions play in putting the economy in check and allowing us to grow accordingly? We thought about status symbols and about values that we also had before. So if we were to check our values, our status symbols, what are we striving for? What should our personal ideal world look like? And is there a unanimous set of values that we would all subscribe to? One last aspect I'd like to mention is that if you want to see the world as it is, not just go there in 2 dimensions, but go there in 3 dimensions. as we meet here to exchange knowledge between the different groups, between different cultures and countries and ways of home economic teaching, so should we go out there and try to discover the world in the different aspects and take this message home. We had one person saying, now I'm teaching just 5 minutes away from my primary school, but I've been to very different places in between, and I see the world from a different perspective. And I think this is also very important for globalization, that we see the world out there beyond the screen, but with our own eyes, with our own emotions, and take this maybe also back home into our teaching.
Consumption, we were talking about the challenge we have today and what problems. We were talking about the waste and for food, plastic, and also the overconsumption and the levels and the consumption are different between countries. We have a gap, like increasing between rich and poor countries, and also an abuse of the resources on the planet. We talked about what is our needs and wants. Like sometimes we have a demand, like we need everything. I need to buy this shirt. Not like we have to have it, like you have to use it. It's only like we want it. And also we're talking about, especially from the rich countries, and we have sometimes we're talking about the problem is with water and grain shortage. We have a loss of soil. And also deforestation, and we have problems with pollution. We haven't write it down, but I had to say it. And also we have with everything about problems with water, we said it, and with soil and ozone. And then we talked also what we can do and the possibility we have. We were talking about we have to change people's mindset. Therefore, we're here for the sustainable mindset, how we can think. Restrictions from maybe tax or fair from the government. And also to learn to be responsible for everything. To challenge our behavior, how we do it today. And also educate, we come back to that as well. And also like professional advice, what we should do, and also think about how we're thinking today. Can we maybe have other values in life than we have today? And we were also talking about doing more like change materials, sharing ownership, and we were talking about recycling economy and how we can do that together in the world. But it's much things to do, and also to maybe if we can change how the multinational business are working today. So it shouldn't be all about money, it should be thinking about what is the most important for us in the life. Maybe we can live for 100 years or something. That would be very nice. I think we are, and also, oh sorry, I didn't know if I'd say this. The UN global goals, so it should be for everyone. And everyone should have the same rights around the world. Yes? Thank you.
Security was our topic, but we could change food providing instead of our topic, because this given picture about food access divide world into two parts maybe. There are countries where is food available and maybe too much people eat. They are oversized. Is obviously, and there are many countries where people have food deficient and micronutrition deficient, and of course that is why we can't talk in the first step about food security. It most for agriculture, appropriate, bad infrastructure, no land property also is, and poor knowledge about it and no access to credit also. So we see what should happen, what to do with all this, we can maybe say blame politics in both part of, because necessary develop this politics in developed countries, also where sometimes problems are. I see with food waste maybe more than because sometimes we talk in this food legislation in developed countries. Sometimes we waste too much food because it expires its duration time, and food is eatable still, like our cheesecakes, what we have on table. Also out of reach, but no, and soon expired time will come, and that is why maybe too much food we waste. But in this part of world, no food available. So here also politics maybe some of the members of my group said corruption is also objective these reasons, the climate also, but maybe not willingness to do develop all this agriculture. So there are different problems and for both of this part of the world. So that would be my presentation.
Okay, hello everybody. Thanks for everybody who participated in this topic, because you gave me the reason why, some ideas for the reason why I'm here. I come from Finland, where we are spoiled, all of us, because our living standard is so high. So that's why I chose that topic, poverty. And the harmless spelling mistake in the topic was first poverty, meaning power in this issue. Okay, so okay, and our discussions here first that what is the issue with poverty. Rich countries don't take the responsibility. In developing countries, war, low incomes, starvation, shortage of water, corruption, force people to immigrate. And then that makes rich countries more rich, and that's not the solution for poverty. Actually, in developing countries, the people think of how to survive instead of planning how to save the future, how to be sustainable. So it's only how to survive in those places. And if you compare that to Finland, so we should feel safe. Then the solutions. So equal payment all along life, fair trade, fair distribution, protest in rich countries, transparency in whole production line, motivating people to make right choices by teaching, being good examples. It should be easier to make the right choice. We discussed a lot that it's not easy to be a good consumer. Then boycott. Then energy system should be renewable all over the world. And then we should improve education. We should monitor better how our support meets the people. And the culture should change more cooperative, sharing and caring in all countries. And that was a good issue about some developing countries, that because of people's starvation or their problems, they tend to be then not so cooperative because they just have to take care of their own lives. So we should create more cooperative culture in all the countries. Then what else came up to our minds? So in Western countries, we need better relationship with nature, both adults and youngsters, but in schools. So outdoor pedagogy, live with the nature, visit the poor countries, so they get the experience that there needs to be a change in our lifestyle. Thank you.
So, now we start with our next topic. We discussed the challenges and possible solutions. And now we need to create our world, how we want to build. So, the next part is how will your world look like in 2030? And we have a creative group work. And in 1 hour, I beg you, bring your ready posters in this room. And then we go to lunch. And now we want to inspire you a little bit. What is the task? Based on these discussions in the group, you will create a poster, and these posters show how a sustainable world looks like. You could take everything for this poster to recycle materials. If you find materials in this house, or we have some boxes, if you find materials outside, you could place on a poster. At least you have a poster who will show how our world should look like. After then, we have a gallery walk, and I can't find the link. It's not in the presentation, so I will search it. I'm sorry. Please take a seat. I'm sorry. Normally the link has to be in the presentation, but we should maybe.
I'm Serena, and I'm on a mission. I know that everybody's got a superpower. You've just got to work it like I work tennis. I also know that we can use our superpowers to help each other out. Now, we've got an urgent mission to complete by 2030, and we really need your help. We've got to fight inequality. We've got to end poverty, and we've got to respect our planet. Watch this film and find out how to work your powers to complete the mission. Thank you.
Excuse me. Hello? Have you got a minute? Well, this is important. We need your help. Imagine you're travelling in space. You're looking for intelligent life. You've been travelling for a while because space is very spacious. You've already spotted millions of planets with no life at all, lots of acid, lava, that sort of thing. But nowhere to go for your holidays. And then you see it. Earth. A tiny island in space. A little speck of water, rock and soil with a thin layer there that we can breathe. There might be life out there in space, but here on Earth, it's everywhere. On the land, in the water, in the air. Plants, insects, birds, fish and every type of living creature. Some beautiful, some, frankly, a bit weird. And people, billions of people like you and me. You know, beautiful, reasonably intelligent life. Well, I'm just saying. In most ways, we're just like the rest of life on Earth. We start from tiny seeds, and with the right conditions, we grow and mature. To do that, we all need the same basic things. No, not mobile phones, trainers and Facebook, but fresh water, clean air, and healthy food. Without those, we don't last long, no matter how smart our phones are. The good news is that Earth has enough for all of us. The bad news is we've got some serious problems in our way. The first is climate change. The way we're living on Earth now is damaging the very things we need to live. The fuels we burn are choking the atmosphere with gases we can't breathe. We're running out of clean drinking water, but some of us waste it on things that we don't need. And all of this is changing the weather, and that's not even the half of it. The second problem is inequality. Some people on Earth have far more than they need, and most people don't have nearly enough. Many live in terrible poverty. It's just not right. Millions of people are unable to get medicines or healthcare that could stop them from getting sick, or cure them if they do. In some places, children complain about having to go to school. In others, millions of children can't go to school at all. Is that fair? The thing is, we're causing these problems. So we can fix them too, if we all work together and get creative. Let me explain. If you think about it, all living things have superpowers. Birds can fly. We can't. Dogs can smell things we can't, which is not always a bad thing. Plants absorb gas that we can't breathe and turn it into air that we can. But human beings have a power that other creatures don't. We are the most creative creatures ever. Our heads are full of ideas and we're great at making things too. With that power, we've already changed the world over and over and solved thousands of problems. So now we can do it again. The good news is, we have a plan. A plan that can only succeed with your help. There's one organisation in the world that represents the people of 193 countries, and it's entirely dedicated to keeping us peaceful and working together. You may have heard of it, the United Nations. They have just announced the Global Goals for Sustainable Development. These are 17 goals to protect the planet against climate change and make the world safer, fairer and more just for everyone. We have to achieve these goals by 2030. The great thing about a plan is that we can check how we're doing as we go along. Give ourselves a pat on the back if we do well and try harder if not. 2030 isn't so far away, so we need to start right now. There's a lot we can do if we work together and get really creative. We can start by making these goals famous. So find out what they are and tell everyone. And ask everyone to tell everyone else. Then, and this is the exciting bit, see if there's something practical we can do to actually help. If we don't waste food, water or electricity, that would help protect the planet. If we all stick up for people who aren't being treated fairly and respect each other's human rights, that would make a big difference too. There are 17 goals altogether, so lots of different ways in which you can help. We also need some new ideas and new ways of doing things. What if being a girl or a boy made no difference to how safe you feel, the friends you have, or the places you would go? What if we found new ways to make water clean and drinkable? What if we could recycle all of our waste? What else do you think we could do? We all live on Earth, and we depend on the Earth to live. We have so many different cultures, but we only have one planet. If we take care of it and each other and share what we produce fairly and sustainably, Everything we need is right here. Someday we may find intelligent life on other planets. In the meantime, let's see how intelligent we can make it down here for all of us. At home, on Earth.
Just saying.
So,
that link, can you put it up or can you write it down?
yes, now use your superpowers to create a poster in your group. Search for your group participants. Prepare a poster with all materials you find, with recycling materials. At first discuss how your world should look like and then try to build up on the poster world with recycling materials, how it should look like.
But they also can use pencils.
Pencils and write something.
Yeah.
You could use everything you want to create the world for 2030.
So we will have the wooden group with the wood over there.
Yes?
Well, that means behind the wall.
Yes, behind the wall.
Yes.
Yeah. This group too, behind the wall, and then we have the pencil group behind the wall. We
But you
have,
could work also in this room if you want.
yeah.
Because otherwise you look at the creativity from another person. Now we continue. And for this, we want to make the gallery walk. We ask you to give a short introduction into your prepared posters, and we go poster by poster. At first, we want to show you the outcomes from the people in Pakistan who attend via Skype for business. And so they place some interesting ideas on a Padlet, how they think the world could look like in 2030. At first, take a look. Take a look, and then we start with the poster presentation in the room behind.
I like the house with the grass roof. I want one.
That's right.
They want your comments, so if you have any comments, then you can let me know and I can tell them in the chat.
If you have comments, and we'll write it today. So, then we will start with the gallery walk in the room behind. And please give us a short introduction in your poster, what you think, what you discuss, only a short introduction of 2 minutes to think behind these nice buildings. Okay.
Just before we move on to the next big slice for today, can I just say something I forgot, which was very important this morning. This was always in our plans, but now there's an even better reason to do this. But one of the things that we would like to do is that we would like to keep a sort of diary, and this is meant to be mentioned at the same time as a learning diary, but this is a diary, sort of more public, of this event and what you are experiencing. The reason I say that it's even more important now is because we do have these brave souls from Pakistan who are doing their very best to follow, but they cannot have the full experience, and so I think they would be really, really grateful if we could have some volunteers to write up basically a short 1, 2, max 3 paragraph about the different parts of the event as we're experiencing it. So far we've had the World Cafe, we've had the posters, and we're about to look to the future as teachers. So what I'm saying is that for each of those, I would like 1 or 2 volunteers who say that it doesn't have to be by tonight, but maybe by tomorrow night you will have something that can go into a blog, basically, and it will appear in a blog, and you can write about it, you can add photographs, as long as the people in the photographs have given their permission. You can be as creative as you like, but basically it's to give an idea of the experience that you're having. And we now have a very interested audience in this, right from the beginning. So before the end of today, let me not forget again, if I could have at least 3 volunteers for today, and then I'll need the volunteers in advance for tomorrow, because you're going everywhere tomorrow. So think about if you would like to write up in some way. As I say, it doesn't have to be written, you could do a little video, it's up to you. So we're going to have this little travelogue that will be open to everybody in the world, but you will have your first audience in Pakistan for sure. So please think about it and let me know before the end of today.
Thank you very much. Now we start with our next topic. Based on the 2 group works, the global challenges and local solutions, and our world, how it should look like, we have to think very carefully how the teaching processes, the education processes, the learning processes in the world have to be changed. And so, our next step is to discuss what is the role of teachers, what is the role of education in reaching this sustainable world. We work in groups and answer questions about how could we contribute, what are the challenges which we have to overcome, which options we have, and possible strategies, and maybe you find much more. And then you write your interesting ideas on the colored cards on the tables. So you come back to the plenary room, and then we cluster the cards and we start a podium discussion. So from each group, 1 responsible person will chosen who is responsible for who is the person for the podium discussion. And you bring your cards. At first they will be clustered, and then the podium discussion starts. So now we mixed groups and we try to make it really new, and so we go desk by counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have 7 groups with totally different persons, and hopefully a person with whom you don't speak today, I didn't speak today any word. Okay, so we start here.